Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Aaron Wright, and I'm a senior partner with Action Coach Peachtree. And today we have
Guido Vliegen, Three Bros Cookies.
Three Bros Cookies, all right, here in Fayetteville, Georgia. And today we'll be talking to him about his business, his journey into business ownership, challenges, best practices, some of the battles that he's fought, some of the dragons that he's slain so far, the rewards that he has enjoyed after the adventures that he's been on so far as a business owner. If this is your first time to the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe so you can get more content like this, and you'll get notifications when we post new videos of conversations just like this one. All right, Guido, we'll welcome you and thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's go ahead and get kicked off with just a real brief overview of your background and then what led you to starting your own business.
All right, so there's a couple of avenues. A little bit about my background. I'm originally Dutch from the country, the Netherlands, overseas. Went through business administration, MBA over there a long time ago. Since then, I've worked for several companies. The one that brought me over to the United States of America almost 20 years ago now is a company by the name of Tenkate. They acquired a company locally, and I was their only expatriate at the time, and joined Tenkate here close to Atlanta in Union City. Okay. So that's how I got here. That's one part of the story, how we got to the business that we have right now, that I have together with my wife. So we married 8 years ago, and at the time we had we're blending a family. We had 4 children. My daughter had moved out of the house at the time, and we had 3 boys at home. And Leslie said, we should get these kids to do something together. So we were thinking about, what that could be. And we started a little business, as a hobby, really, baking cookies in the kitchen. And the cookies that we selected were the traditional Dutch Stroopwafels that you might have heard of. They're delicious and have been around for 200 years. And have become very popular in the country over the last decade or so. So yeah, we started baking them in the kitchen, imported a baking iron, and we're making cookies. We got the little family reunion meeting together, and one of the kids was the marketing guy, the other was the website guy, the other was a production guy, and we work together like that. And so yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it. Sold the cookies that we made in the kitchen at the local market in Peachtree City, at the the night market in those days. It just started. Very, very popular event, and we couldn't make enough of these things. We were baking for a whole week and sold them out in a couple of hours.
Wow. So
one thing led to another, and we decided, maybe there's something to this business. So in early 2020, we rented our current building in Fayetteville, and started building our little bakery, making them still by hand. And meanwhile, we have a production line in the same building, making tens of thousands of these a day, and having a real viable business.
That's amazing. So you said something that I keyed in on there a little bit. You said you imported the waffle iron.
Yes.
So I'm assuming it's a proprietary, maybe technology, but like there's a special way to make these, to press these.
Yes, and if you go on our website, threebroscookies.com, you can actually find everything you ever wanted to know about Stroopwafels. In addition, and also how they're made. There's a little video there with that comes from Fox 5 Atlanta that'll show you, us making some Stroopwafels. The way that's done is you put a little bit of, make the dough, and you make caramel. You put a little bit of the dough on the iron. When it comes off, you got a nice steaming hot waffle. You then cut the edges off, slice them open, and fill them with caramel.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. Well, I think the interview is over. We're going to pause and go get some cookies.
All right, go and buy.
I've suddenly lost interest in talking. That's awesome. That sounds amazing. Very good. So, so give us a sense of size right now. You don't have to give away any proprietary information, but give us a sense of scale. Where, I mean, you obviously started, baking a couple of cookies at a time. To how big are you now?
So right now, as I mentioned, we have an automatic baking line, also automated caramel production in a big tank, and we can, we used to make like 2,000 to 3,000 in a day. That was hard work for like 7 people, by hand. Now we're making that many easily in an hour. We're making like tens of thousands, as I mentioned, a day. So, the scale is significantly larger. We're now also in, over, about 2,500 to 3,000 stores nationwide. You can go on our website and see the map. We've got some major supermarket chains in there. We have private label business, all sorts of businesses that would like to have Stroopwafels, either for resale or as a giveaway for their customers or anything like that.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about what you do day in, day out. What is your role in the company now? Obviously, you're the founder, but what role do you play on the team right now? What position are you in? So
I'm CEO. My wife is the owner. We are a women-owned business.
Cool.
She heads up sales. And I head up the operations and finance side. So a lot of what I do is managing production, managing purchasing, product development, and finance. So as a small business, your role is very, very wide, which is
absolutely
wanting to start a business, be prepared to do it all.
Very good. How many hours a week do you spend working in your business versus on your business? Like, how many hours a week do you spend crunching the numbers and making the cookies, troubleshooting any technical issues that might come up, customer service, things like that, versus working on your business strategy, more high level thinking?
I would say it's about, because we're still building the business, at least a third is developing processes for the business. That includes developing new products. That includes quality systems. That includes, systems to sell, finding new channels. And 2/3 is working in the business.
Very good.
But you have to, when you're growing, and we need to grow fast as a small business, the growth rate is very significant. You have to spend a lot of time on the business, or you'll be, your growth is going to stall.
It's important to have a good strategy, or else you're not going to know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, you don't know where to focus your energy.
Definitely.
Very good. So, do you have a team of advisors that help you? And where did you find these advisors? What kind of advisors do you have?
So the advisors that we have are mainly on the sales side. So we have brokers, we have people that work on our website, people that work on internet strategies, like how to get business through this new wonderful thing called the internet.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a lot to learn, but you need sales. Is once you figured out how to make your product, then sales is the heartbeat of the business.
Absolutely. Very good. So that's a great dovetail into lead generation. So our audience is primarily business owners, and especially business owners just getting started. So walk us through your lead generation process, what it is now, and where it came from. How did you get to the system that is currently working so well for you?
So I'm going to first off say that there's a whole lot of things that we can do better.
Okay. Yeah.
And there always is. You should never be happy with where you are, but I think we've done pretty good. So lead generation comes out of several directions. And it depends on what the business is. So we have our own brand, Three Bros Cookies, but we also have a private label offering. So so let's start with the brand. And with a brand, either you're selling direct through our website. Their lead generation is very much through creating ways for people to find your business. That can be SEO on your website, search engine optimization. So we've done a lot of work, and I think pretty proud of the ratings that we have on our website. We are like, there was an incumbent Stroopwafel company from Holland that we're competing with. We're the only ones that make these cookies fresh in the United States, and that is really how we are different from all the other guys out there.
Okay.
That was our, from the start, our idea of, why would somebody want to buy our cookies? Well, we're the only ones that make them right here in the United States of America. So that's what we're promoting. And in terms of lead generation, it's very important that you have a good strategy as to what keywords you want to rank for and how you execute that technically on your website. That's one area, and I think we've done really well in terms of ranking high on particularly Google.
You said something there. I'll pause you just for a second. That's, I think, a really big point. It sounds like early on identified the what you had to offer the world that was unique.
Yes.
You had something very specific that you were able to hone in on. This is what makes us different. This is what makes us better. This is what makes us, this is what helps us to create our space in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And that's an important lesson. I think you would agree with, for any small business owner, identifying exactly what it is you have to offer the world that no one else can or no one else does.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, in marketing terms, called your USP or a
unique selling proposition. Yeah.
Right. So that's right from the start. We were like, okay, this is a nice family hobby, right? It's been really good. But before you make it into a business, you need to look at the marketplace and wonder, what is it that we bring that others don't? And also important, it has to be something that the customer will care about, right? Don't sell to yourself. Try to think of what your customer would want. Well, I'm a Dutchman. I came over here, and the first time I found Stroopwafels in the shop, I was excited. I bought them, took them home, tried one, and was so disappointed because the cookies just have been sitting so long on a boat or in a warehouse or wherever because they had to come out of Holland. Which is a minimum of 4 weeks to 5 weeks away. And everything goes stale after a while. So what is our benefit? We are made right here in the US. As a Dutchman, I know the recipe. I know how to do these things. So why not make them here?
Absolutely. I would imagine, a quick technical question, just out of curiosity, I would imagine when you're a company in Holland that is making these, and you understand that you're going to have anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks probably before your item is enjoyed, you have to cook it differently. I would imagine you have to include ingredients you might not otherwise, in order just to make it keep longer, which might impact the taste or the quality. I would imagine. I don't know. Is that a educated guess?
That's true. Absolutely. That is true. And so there's different ways to make a Stroopwafel. Like we also make Stroopwafels at markets locally, and that is slight change in recipe. When we make them for stores, you have to, of course, it takes could take a couple of months for somebody to actually enjoy the Stroopwafel. So we also adjust the recipe, but never do we use anything that is not natural.
Gotcha. So as you're looking back on your journey so far, what would you say has been your biggest challenge, the obstacle that was the most difficult to overcome, the dragon, so to speak, that was the largest and the most fierce that you found yourself up against?
Well, there is many. Starting a business is not for the faint of heart. But I'll tell you, the most important thing really is to gain traction. It takes perseverance. It takes a lot of doing, and just you're learning all the time. I've learned so many things that even I was for 8 years the group director, basically CEO of a division of the Dutch company. We did $300 million in revenue annually, but managing this little business, I've done things and learned things that I never knew as a CEO of that company.
Give me your best, for instance. Was it perhaps getting into your first supermarket or your first chain, or the perfecting the technology? What would you say was the most difficult race you've run so far with Three Brothers?
Not getting into the first, but then the follow-up of how do you spread that success to others. That's been quite a challenge, and one that we're overcoming. And you work with a broker, but then you have to do a lot of work yourself as well. And you can't rely on the broker. There's a lot there to improve, not just on the sales side, but then also back on the technical side of packaging. Where do ingredients come from, et cetera, et cetera. It's even in production, you're basically a marketing organization, because you're always thinking about what does this do for our chances in the marketplace.
Gotcha. So we're getting near to the end of our time. Tell me about what your expectation is and plan is for what you'll be doing with the business itself in the next 3 to 5 years. What does the future look like for you?
Well, our plan is to keep on expanding. We have a very high growth rate. We're at least doubling, if not tripling, our business year over year, and that's with the significant amount of capacity that we added. We can continue that for another 2 to 3 years, and at that point, we will need to look at expanding the business.
Yeah, that's a challenge in and of itself. The bigger you are, the more people, the more customers, everything has to be scaled.
Absolutely, and at that point, you get into a different style of organization. Right now, as I mentioned, my role is very wide, and then the organization will become more people in specialized roles, if that makes sense. The role becomes narrower but bigger.
Absolutely. Very good. So your goal is expansion in the next 3 to 5 years, and any ultimate dream as to what you'd like to do with the business yet?
Oh, if we can leave some kind of legacy for the family and for ourselves somehow. And another thing that Leslie and I really enjoyed is helping our employees build up their own lives. That makes sense. So part of it, of course, you want to be successful yourself, but you'd also like your employees to be successful. And that is one area where we feel quite passionate about trying to do something good for the community as well.
And then last couple of questions for you then. If you would talk a little bit about hiring, how do you know when to hire someone, who to hire, and how do you make those kinds of personnel decisions? A lot of small business owners that we talk to, they're just beginning to bring on new people, and the first person you hire is the most important person, because that person's going to have to be touching many things, and every person that adds thereon, as you described earlier, your job gets narrower and narrower but becomes bigger and bigger, right? So how do you know when to hire someone and who to hire?
Well, the first thing is that when to hire someone is when your cash flow is sustainable enough to be able to finance that as a small business owner. That's, I think, the first thing you need to look at when you're a small business.
Okay.
Do I have sufficient cash flow to be able to pay for this person.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing is, what is the most critical role that you need? And in our situation, it's really, now we would need to, what do we need to focus on as management of the business? So a lot of the roles that we're hiring for are at the operational level.
Okay, gotcha. So cash flow is the first thing that a young business owner should look at, and then it sounds like operational objectives. What's most important for you right now?
Absolutely.
Very good. Here are a couple of rapid fire questions here at the end. What is your number one? There are many keys to success and many things that one must do to be successful, but what is your number one key to success? What is something that you always try to keep front of mind as you're considering decisions and faced with problems? What is your number one key for success?
My number one key for success, I think, is having a product or a service that stands out to your customer.
Mm-hmm. And what would be a similar question? What would be your one piece of advice to a young business owner just getting started, maybe their first or second year in?
Before you start, do your due diligence as to how quickly you think you can ramp it up and why it is that your business is more important than the others. And then for sure, expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. Okay.
Because we, whenever, and I do this myself all the time, I make a plan and then I'm looking at it and like, really? Is it going to be that nice? Is life going to be that good? No, just
no.
Really take a big hit on whatever you're hoping, because you're often, when you're wanting to start a business, you just want to start a business and you're going to convince yourself that it's a good idea. Right? So try to step back and then say, well, am I really, going to be that lucky? Probably not. So you have to build into your plan some significant adversity.
I think it's there's a gentleman that I follow. His name is Jocko Willink, and he's a former Navy SEAL commander. And he talks about the importance of honesty and extreme ownership in what's going on around you and your circumstances. And he talks about the most important thing you can do for yourself or for your company or for a team you're leading is to be honest with yourself first.
Yeah.
And not overblow the situation, not make it worse or better than what it actually is. To look at it for what it is exactly, and to approach the situation with a heart for owning the problem and the solution in yourself, not making excuses, and just moving forward in a mindset like that. That's awesome. What is one book you're reading now or have read recently that has impacted your thinking as a business owner?
I'm not a big book reader, to be honest.
Okay.
But
what about a podcast or a speaker, somebody who's influencing you right now?
One book that I've always enjoyed, and it's, I'm showing my age here, but
okay.
It's, you might have read it. It's Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Oh, no, I've never read this book. Okay.
This was a hit back in the 80s.
Okay.
You should go back. And it's back on the theme of quality. What is quality? What makes something good or bad? And it's at the end of the day, the message of the book is that quality is like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder.
Very good. What last question for you. If you had to choose one area of your business today to immediately improve for tomorrow, what would that be?
To immediately improve what we're doing. There's so many things that I could say. I would say that the most immediate thing that would make our lives easier is more sales.
More sales. All right. Yeah. Very good. Focusing on lead generation, conversion percentages, margins, all those things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Being tactical. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We've covered a lot of ground in our conversation from beginning to end. For those watching, I highly encourage you guys to to check our channel back for future conversations like this, and also to check out Three Brothers yourself. Where can they find you?
Well, you can first stop is go to the website threebroscookies.com, where you can order the product right there. And for those that want to find us in a store, there's a map on our website where you can find all the stores that carry us. And I highly encourage you to read up on our website on what Stroopwafels are, how they're made, and where you can get them.
That's awesome. And I'm assuming you guys are on social media also?
We're in social media. Our handle on Instagram and Facebook is Three Bros Cookies. And maybe a little shout out, we're introducing a new product right now. For those people that don't know, Stroopwafels are also very popular with athletes because they're a perfect combination of both fast acting and continuing energy. If you're a runner, a cyclist, a gym rat, CrossFit, triathlon, all of those things benefit a lot from the right kind of energy, and that's what Stroopwafels provides. So we introduced a product called Honey Booster recently that really hits all the high marks for athletes.
Absolutely. I'll take a moment of personal privilege here to say I've used products like yours before, and the best advantage I think as a triathlete and a cyclist is the portability. You don't have to prepare anything. You just throw it in your kit and you're good to go for your 2-hour, 3-hour group ride with your friends, and you don't have to worry about it. It's delicious and it's awesome, and it's no mess, no fuss. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
So absolutely would provide my personal endorsement there as well. So very good. So again, just a reminder to our audience to like, comment, and subscribe on the video, and that'll help us to promote the content and to promote Three Brothers. And if there's anything we can do for you as Action Coach, we'd love to have a conversation with you. I'll have a link to our services down below if you're looking for business coaching or a way to turn your business from a job into a sustainable, profitable enterprise that you own and can support your family and your goals. We'd love to have a conversation with you. But that wraps up our conversation today. Thank you very much for watching.